Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 2023. Happy New Year. If we have not seen you prior to tonight's meeting, we trust that you were able to rest, recuperate and rejuvenate, throughout the holiday season. We're now calling tonight's meeting to order for Monday, January 9th. The first item on our agenda is the opening prayer, and I will lead the prayer for tonight. And then after that, we'll turn it over to Councilmember McBride to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please bow your heads and pray with me. Heavenly Father, I submit this prayer in the spirit of thanksgiving, thankful for another year of life, health, and the opportunity to serve you. I want to first thank you for all that you've done for the town of Bladensburg and the beautiful staff and council that is here with us tonight. I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve our community and work together and provide a thriving, clean, and safe community for our residents. I want to express my thanks for all the challenges you've helped us to overcome. For as we know, we've come this far by faith, and that faith has been anchored in you, cultivated through tests and trials, strengthened by your word and your will. And through it all, we've come through stronger and undeterred from our purpose. As I close again, I want to ask that you rule, rest, and abide with us. Bring the spirit of unity, not just tonight, but as we work together throughout this year. In your powerful and precious name, I pray. Amen. Councilmember McBride.
Do I have a flag?
Good question. Mr. Gray, are you able to put up the flag for us?
Oh, Mr. Tonelli not here today.
I know. He's the backup. Uh-oh, I think Chief is coming to the rescue.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
All right, Chief. Thank you. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember McBride, and thank you, Chief, for always stepping up, being ready to serve at a moment's notice.
Yes. Thank you, Chief.
With that, we will move to the approval of the agenda. For those who were a part of the work session, we did have a couple of items that, due to the sake of time, we do need to address in the council meeting. One is already listed here, which is the security camera rebate program. The other item, the town clerk department staffing, we won't necessarily add it as an agenda item. We'll just have Mr. Charnovich include that as part of his administrative update tonight. So with that, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda.
As amended, so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Brown. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
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 Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. We do not have any appearances scheduled for tonight's meeting, so we'll move forward with the approval of the meeting minutes for December 12th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
Also move.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any corrections or edits to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
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 Any nays? The ayes have it. Next, we'll call for a motion for approval of the December 15th special council meeting minutes.
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Rout. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any corrections or edits to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
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 Any nays?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, we'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Charnovich for public comments.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, we have two public comments from town residents. You know it's water time. Happy New Year. All right. Our first public comment is from town resident Carletta Lundy. Dear Mayor and Town Council members, Happy New Year. The Parent and Community Advisory Council, PCAC, established by Board Policy 1500, the PCAC provides counsel and advice on issues pertaining to student academic achievement, parental and community engagement, and public perception of Prince George's County Public Schools. Parents have growing concerns about safety of their children in schools and report feeling stressed, scared, and angry, and many report that their children are feeling the same. We can't only rely on local, state, or federal government to take ownership of the issues we face locally. We need to work as a community to nurture our schools for our particular community needs. PCAC are a group of concerned, energetic individuals who are parents and grandparents, caregivers, community stakeholders, faith-based leaders, educators, and former educators who are dedicated to the overall well-being and education of our children. Therefore, if the town's mayor, council, or any other town residents are interested in engagement and partnership opportunity for the success of our children and their families, I look forward to connecting with you. To learn more about the Parent and Community Advisory Council, please send an email to Carla_Lundy@yahoo.com or call me at 240-603-4193 because we are interested in sharing and listening to your concerns and feedback. All voices matter, and the value of your input is invaluable to the success of our children. When families, community groups, private and public partnerships, businesses and schools band together to support learning, young people achieve more in school, stay in school longer, and enjoy the best experience possible. Carletta Lundy, town resident. And our second comment this evening is from Susan McCutcheon, town resident. Good evening, Mayor and Council, town staff, and Bladensburgers. I would start with a Happy New Year message. However, 2023 has already started out badly, and I foresee troubled years ahead for the United States and the rest of the world. I would suggest we watch the PBS series on the Holocaust and the Ultra podcast and pay attention to the warnings. History has always taught us something very important, so many things, and we have yet to learn from it because we are racing down the same path of destruction. It is left to our local and state governments and residents to do what they can to be positive and work as though what they do matters, and maybe it will. Our mayor and council and the town staff are hardworking individuals doing the best they can in thankless jobs. They put themselves in positions in which they are subject to constant scrutiny and criticism, only sometimes praise. More residents need to become involved, attend meetings, and serve on committees. I request of town staff that when committees are advertised in e-newsletters, the notices include links to descriptions of the work of those committees, written or in videos of the current chairs, if it is an existing committee and not a new one. Otherwise, residents will not know for what they are applying. I support the council's initiatives to provide businesses and nonprofits a portion of the ARPA funding. The council is also working on other initiatives important for the community. We are still fighting the superconducting magnetic levitation train project. Significant actions will be taken in 2023, and we are facing a moneyed Northeast maglev conglomerate with intense and widespread lobbying power. Susan McCutcheon, town resident. And those are the only two public comments submitted, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Charnovich, for reading our public comments tonight. And thank you for the residents who took the time to share your thoughts with us. We truly do appreciate it. At this time, we'll proceed through the agenda. We don't have any unfinished business tonight, so we'll move past that to financial business. And the first item was discussed in our work session at 5:30, and we invited our fire department representatives to join us because they do have a significant need. And we want to be able to be a partner in staffing them with the resources so they can continue the public safety important work that they do for our community. And so in summary, the council did discuss the request to support the final payment for the Bladensburg newest fire department ambulance in the amount of $261,117. For residents who weren't a part of the work session, the justification for this is their budget. As you know, they're volunteers. They rely on donations from the town as well as through bingo and other things. And they are having to put on a $117,000 roof at the post office, which is one of their properties. In addition to that, there's been mold found in part of the firehouse, which, as we all know, that has to be eradicated and remediated immediately. And so knowing they're going to have to deal with those heavy expenses in the very near term, they came to the town council for some support with, again, just paying for the balance of the emergency apparatus, which, as many of us know, the ambulance goes through this town many times throughout the day. It is a hugely important piece of equipment, and they provide a hugely important range of services for our town residents. And so again, I'm just grateful for the discussion that the council had and the desire to be supportive. And so with that, I'll call for, unless, I know Chief Sumner, you're still there. Did you have, oh wait, he stepped away. It's hard to see, is that Bobby? No, it's not Bobby, it's Donnie. Donnie, did you want to add anything?
No, ma'am. Unfortunately, Dave had to run a call.
Okay, see? Case in point. All right, well, thank you for.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So with that, any comments or questions from the council before I call for the vote?
I get the first signature on there, but. okay.
Yes, Donnie, Councilmember Blunt wants her photo on the new ambulance, just so you're
No,
aware.
it's a little small signature.
But with that, is there a motion to approve the ambulance payment in the amount of $261,117 using ARPA funds?
I so moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilmember Blunt, seconded by Councilmember Rout. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
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 Any nays? The ayes have it. Again, truly, thank you all so much for your support. And I know our fire department appreciates it as well. The next item that we wanted to discuss under financial business, it's listed under new business, but the discussion, as I said earlier, ran long in our work session, so we didn't get to field all the questions from the team. And so want to get that on the table. So if there's a desire by the council to move forward, that can be incorporated into the ordinance reading rather than discussing it after the fact. And so Councilmember Rout, do you want to give a quick summary of that agenda item? Because I know you had to go quickly at the end of the work
Thank
session.
you. Thank you, Mayor James. As I shared previously, this idea was constructed out of a meeting that myself, Mayor James, Chief Collinson held after attending the National League of Cities Conference, where we met an individual from a camera company, and they had a pilot program. And so we were all excited. We had some ideas on what the pilot program would yield for our residents and businesses. And unfortunately, it just did not, the program did not line up to the needs of what we needed, and we didn't see an added benefit. It was just our participation in the program, and the equipment would need to be purchased by the residents. And so taking a step back, when we debriefed, we did just discuss, brainstormed ideas as it relates to some type of security camera rebate program. As we all know, within the last 2 years, the violent crime in Prince George's County has tripled. And as Chief Collinson shared before, we have porch pirates. There's different things that happen in front of people's homes, that even in our apartment communities, in the hallways, etc., where there are just some alarming things. And if our police department had the necessary tools like camera footage ready and available to them, it would assist them with deterring and decreasing crime. which is the purpose of this proposed rebate program. So the rebate would cover the cost of the camera, including sales tax, the installation of the camera and storage with a maximum rebate of $500. That's a one-time fee. And the requirements to participate is that the applicant must be an owner or a tenant of a property that is used as a residence, business, or a nonprofit or religious institution located within our town limits. The applicants must provide documentation that they are an actual property owner. The camera system must have been purchased and installed commencing January 1st. So that's after January 1st, 2023. And before all available funds are expended, the security cameras must be installed on the exterior residence of or business. It must be an outdoor weatherproof camera. And then there was some minimum specs that was given on the application. One security camera per household. Security camera systems have to meet the specs. And then the resident would sign an attestation that they do check all of the necessary requirements of the program, and that in the event of an investigation that they would yield the video footage to our police department so that they can assist. Personally, I do have a not a ring, I don't have that. I have a doorbell camera, and there was an incident when we were in council meeting. And there was a young person that was going around checking cars. And so he gained access into my vehicle. And so I knew some of the officers that were responding. So of course I called it in, they came out, they talked to me. But then they also got other telephone calls from other residents, not even in my ward, in another ward. It was yielded. I was able to extract the video and send it to the officer who was responding. Fire board got involved. They lit up the town with their lights, and we were able to identify the individual based off of a couple of our residents sharing the footage. The person was actually left over here, went all the way over to Ward 2, doing the same thing, breaking in cars. And we were able, our fabulous police department was able to apprehend the minor, and we were able to talk to, their parents. But this is just an example of when we have footage, we can identify and we can close these investigations quickly. That we have to do something. We have ARPA funds to support this. I'm just requesting, I spoke with Chief Collington and asked, we tossed around a pilot program. Is this something that we want to pilot? But just to provide equity amongst both of our wards for all of our businesses, we are all subject to our crime. So at this time, I'm recommending just a program with a dollar amount that's fit by the council. So whether that's 100 households, 200 households, at the rate of $500 per rebate. I can entertain any questions.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Rout, and want to definitely go to the council with any questions. Councilmember Brown.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Councilmember Rout. I called everybody's name. I guess maybe I'm still not understanding it a little bit. I don't want you to have to go into everything because we want to make this sure we're on time schedule here. Don't want to drag this out. So the ask is there's a camera program and we want to give our residents a rebate of $500 one time, and then they give footage over to police officers. Is that what the ask is? I'm just trying to make it real short and clear what the ask is.
Yeah, a council member Rout is coming off mute, but essentially that's what it is, for the town to fund the purchase of cameras. So not pushing a particular brand, but just having this reimbursement program. And the agreement with the residents would be that if they apply for the reimbursement, they are also agreeing to share any sort of footage that could be useful in the solving of a crime. So it's a partnership with our residents. Does that make sense? I want to make sure I'm answering correctly, Councilmember Brown.
Okay.
And I get the referral that I see because frankly, we are already doing this. If we're totally honest, just this past weekend, a situation happened in our community. I didn't need a rebate from the town for a camera system. I was able to get footage from my neighbor, share my footage, send an email to Chief Collington and report it. And that's not the first time. And so Councilmember Rao, I know we talked about it, last month after the demo, but just over the holidays and thinking about it more, I think what would be most helpful is to have some data around this so that we can make an informed decision. So for example, if we could create a registry of our residents to say, could you please contact our police department? Chief can tell us who can be the point of contact to register with us. So that way on any given block, we know where the residents are who have this footage. So when CID has an instance, they already know where they can go to get footage. Because we're doing that, the difference is we just don't have a database of how many people. And I don't know that we necessarily as a town need to go in this direction where we're funding it quite yet, because we don't even know how many crimes have been solved using this footage to justify there's an overwhelming number and we need more. And so I think having that kind of input from the police department will also help us. If we just go back over 3 to 5 years, what are the instances where this type of footage helped, like in the case you just mentioned? So we have some numbers behind the decision before we start saying, okay, now we have a picture as to how much money we need to put behind it. Or if a pilot program is even warranted, because there's so many camera programs out there, as you noted, you're doing this already, I'm doing this, our HOA is really strong with this, other communities, even some of our senior buildings, residents have their rings. So I think a good first step would be, let's get some data behind that. And it's also an engagement opportunity too, to help them feel comfortable and confident in sharing the information and understanding we will not jeopardize their safety and put their names out there. We just want to build that trust so they know if they send the information to Chief Collington or whoever he designates, that their name isn't going to be plastered in the media that Keisha James at such and such street, shared this video. So Chief, I want to get your thoughts because it really does affect your department. And see what you think about this.
And then if I may respond.
Sure, I want to pull Chief in just to get some thoughts because he may feel differently. And then I'll come back to you, council member.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, residents, colleagues. Man, first we want to put the community at ease. We want the community to know that in no way will their videos be posted to any other social media. We want them to know that the media, the videos will be kept in a secure location. It's normally ran through our criminal investigations division. They are the ones that are charged with following up on these crimes that occur. So they would be the ones that will have that access. So it wouldn't go to every police officer in the department. It would be centralized throughout criminal investigations division. Building that database, again, does enhance our ability to identify and arrest individuals that are committing these criminal acts within the town, because the police, quite frankly, can't be everywhere all the time. But these cameras are a great resource to be able to solve crime. And we just want to make sure that our residents know that we will protect the video. This is strictly a voluntary program that we like to start building a database, because our detectives can look right into the database. We have a crime, we have a car speeding up, we have people running up through a certain part of the neighborhood, and that we will be able to hone in and identify, get that information, that lookout information out and share it with our responding units. Because we know, as was mentioned earlier, the individual that we linked to multiple car break-ins was a result of video security camera video being shared with the police, and we were able to link that individual to multiple car break-ins. So it takes all of us to get involved within the community, and we would strongly urge a partnership with our community with sharing that video.
Great, thank you for that background, Chief. Councilmember Rout, I know you had a response as well.
Thank you, Mayor James. So because of, I want to respond to what you said, that we're already doing this. There's only a handful of residents that are already doing this. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, you're doing it, but we are involved. I mean, we serve the town. There are residents that are working class that may not have the $400, $500 to get this installation system installed because they are on a fixed income. But they have been affected by the crime, and it is our responsibility to do something about it. And this program is something about it. We need to protect the health and safety and the welfare of our residents. That's the oath of office we all took here today, and just the civil thing to do. And so this opportunity will provide a tool, the same tool that our fire department had with their ambulance that we graciously supported them. This will provide the residents a tool to feel more safe and be protected, because maybe there is a resident that cannot afford a $500. I'm blessed. I got my house. I tell my kids it's Fort Knox over here. You could try it if you want to, but there are residents that cannot do that. And there are many different types of security systems. There's one that can just store the data. There's an actual service that you could purchase and provide. This program is simply for the installation of a security cameras. There's a low budget option, there's high budget options. This hopefully will allow us to improve the safety and decrease crime. And I don't think we should wait for data. We know that footage works based off of Chief Colleton's comment.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rout. But again, I think we have a responsibility when we are making decisions to know the numbers and the actual impact of it. And so just want to see where the council lies in terms of how to proceed forward, because we also have the ordinance reading as the next agenda item. Councilmember Blunt, I see your hand.
Yes, I'm in full agreement, because, I mean, I won't say exactly what happened, but without cameras, a group of guys would not have been caught. And they did some violent crime where shooting was involved. And I'm in agreement with it, because we're not hit bad here in Bladensburg. I mean, as far as I know, but we are, DC is being hit. And as soon as they come here, like the incident with the car, when they were stealing cars, cameras work. And that's what they're for. And I'm all in agreement with cameras. Not every door, every other door have, but my thing, I'm in agreement with that.
Thank you, Councilmember Blunt. Councilmember McBride.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with cameras, but the one thing is, for our complex, we had a rash of people. Somebody came on the property and broke in people's cars and stole their handicap passes, and we had nothing at all to help those residents, for us. But I understand what you're saying as far as the houses, but I'm saying I'm looking at where do we get help from? That's it.
Thank you. And that's a very valid point. That's exterior, outside of your complex. So even if residents inside your building did opt to go with a camera outside of their unit, it's not going to catch something happening outside the building. That's where the owner of your property should have installed cameras.
And we do.
In that parking lot, to catch those kinds of things. So this program, unfortunately, would not address those concerns. There may be other things that we can partner on the actual property owners for multifamily facilities on, but that's the whole point that I'm making, is what exactly is our need? We're just hearing there's crime, we need to do something, this is a solution. The question is, yes, it's a solution. Is it the correct solution for Bladensburg today? What do we know? How many residents are currently registered? There was a name mentioned for one particular app. How many users do we have in our community on there? How many on some of these other platforms? We have no idea. So we're proposing to put money out here, this unlimited number, for businesses and homes, but really not understanding what the need is. With the ambulance situation, we didn't approve a blanket number. We knew specifically, based on the documentation received, this is the specific amount of number needed to address this concern. So I'm just asking that we take a step back and let's get the info. It's not that hard. I think by the next meeting, we
I
could be
think it
able to
is
work
that hard
together.
because I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think
I
that
have the
we'll be
floor.
able
I have the floor.
to,
Order, please. So as I said, I think that doing our due diligence, and this is something Councilmember Rao references all the time, we need to make data-informed decisions, and that's what I'm bringing before the council. Now at this time, we have gone well past our time, and I know we could talk about this for 30 minutes because it is important, but we do need to move on. And in order to move on, I just want to have a clear consensus from the council. Is it the will to put this, move it forward and put it into the budget ordinance? So I just want to go around and make sure I'm clear in terms of where everyone is on this issue. Councilmember Rout.
Yes, I would like to move it forward because it is hard to get data when people have subscriptions. You're not going to be able to get that data willingly from companies. We will have to get that data from our residents. And if we don't already have an outreach mechanism, which we're still building as a town, it's going to be a moot point. This makes sense. The data that we have is that crimes have risen and actually tripled 35% over the last 2 years. That data should be enough that we should be able to do something about it. And I'm just requesting to the council, let's start small, roll this program out. And if it's not helpful, it's not helpful. And the police department will still be able to win. But the time is now. And we should be able to do this for our residents and our businesses.
Thank you, Councilmember. So again, just continuing, Councilmember Brown.
Thanks, Mayor. Just real quick. I mean, I think it's important, but putting some more parameters around it. If we want to say that we want to roll out a pilot program and do a pilot program and number one, I mean, over here, it's not addressing everybody because you do have other areas, but maybe doing supporting a pilot program to say, put some parameters around it and see how that works. Because it is important. It will help the officers. People are already doing it. They're sharing footage, all around. I'm on a thing with my job in DC in the area. They send that camera footage around all the time, trying to catch the porch pirates and all that stuff. So I will support a pilot so we can see how.
So Councilmember Brown, to be clear, because if the council does want to move forward with this pilot as proposed, we need to incorporate it into the budget ordinance. So I just want to make sure we have a tally. So are you saying slow down, get the data, let Chief build out the database, find out the areas where we need this or what our quantities are in terms of residents who are currently using it versus just go ahead and blanket approve the pilot and roll it into the budget ordinance tonight?
I'm thinking that we do a pilot and put some parameters around and say, hey, we know that there's crime out there, and from what the chief was saying, it will help the officers right now. Crime is happening right now. So if we do a pilot and say, okay, we're just going to start with 100 households in certain areas and roll that out and see how that works. Because data is out there. We can get some more data, but crime is just happening now. And so I think it will help our officers right now if we do a pilot and say it's just 100 households, put a number, 100 households, and I think we can do both. I think we can do the pilot, roll that out, and then collect data simultaneously. Because I don't know, would that be helpful? I'm thinking it would just be helpful to the officers right now, because crime is just and crime is just picking up in Bladensburg. It is all over, But,
And when you say, is it helpful? I think it goes back to something that was raised earlier. We're
Mhm.
trying to roll out all these programs and we only have a limited staff. And now we're doing the business ARPA program. That's going to take staff resources. And Councilmember Rout made a good point. We signed up for this community engagement resource. We need to stand that up so we can start pushing out this kind of information. I feel like we keep saying, do this, start this, start this, start this, but we're not taking the time to fully implement some of our things. And so we can approve it tonight, but that's my worry, is that we approve it, but then bandwidth becomes a challenge again with staffing and it sits. So rather than just saying, okay, we're approving it just because it sounds popular and I made some great talking points, it's like, no, we have to be realistic, determine what is the need. Is this the need for a solution that we have currently? And if it is, then we roll out the necessary plan using public safety. So I'm hearing yes to roll this out in a pilot and allocate what I calculated for 100 homes at up to $500 per home. That would be $50,000 to fund this that we would need to also include in the budget ordinance. So that's the other reason. I'm just trying to be clear. So we make sure that when we have the ordinance read, we have that right dollar amount that's included in there, since the discussion was pull the money from ARPA, from Councilmember Rout's recommendation.
I'm comfortable with that number, Mayor.
Councilmember Brown?
Yeah. Ooh. Public safety is public safety is probably, well, that's 50,000. Do we roll it back to 50 and that's 25,000?
If that was the case, then that would be 50 homes or businesses potentially up to 50K, just for a matter of reference.
So it's at 500. That's okay. So 500 times 25 homes, that's 1250. So 500 times, oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. And I was saying the 50, right, being 50 homes being the 25,000 for the pilot.
Correct.
Yes, and well, the other part too. So as we do the budget amendment, because we do have to think about staffing and do have to think about, okay, who's going to manage this? And it is pretty, so is it somewhere where we can say, okay, well, we do want to approve it, we do want to look at it, we do want to do the pilot, but who's going to do the staffing? Does it start now or, you know, a little further up the road? So how does the staffing component come in? Because it is going to impact the staff.
Yeah, and I think Chief Collington, because it's public safety, we'd appreciate your perspective on how you would envision rolling this out should the council move forward with this tonight.
So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. So it's really not a staffing issue, because what happens is it's just a resource that we check a database, just like we check the database for running tags on motor vehicles. It's just a resource, another resource that we can tap into. And so it's not something that we have to go out and maintain the residents' cameras or anything like that. All we're doing is finding out in our database who has a camera, who can share that video with us. And our detectives are already charged with following up on the investigation. So with crime occurring, this is just another resource for us to just tap into that can help us link cases and hold people accountable for committing crimes.
Thank you, Chief. So I've got 2 yeses. Councilmember Blunt.
Mayor,
yes.
Mayor, I'm sorry, with Chief, I was talking about in terms of the lead work on the front end of it. You know, identifying the 100, the 50 or the 100 homes and getting that information. That's what I'm talking about. Who is going to do all of that lead work before it even gets to
So while we were discussing, and making myself some notes to write down. Main thing is getting the literature out to the community. That is like leaflets that we're going out. So our officers as well as our community action team will be doing so it would take all of us to get it started. It's going to take some effort to get it started. It's just not going to happen on its own. So we all have to get involved in it. So our CAT team, along with our officers, just like we go out and put leaflets on cars, lock your doors, remove your items. All we're doing is sharing the information with our community. Our community, if they choose to join in, will contact the CAT team, and we would know that we would be putting that address into our database, that they are willing to participate. Now, who's going to procure the cameras? That is another issue that we just have to look at. We'll get it done.
Thank you, Chief. And then Councilmember Blatt, I believe you said you were in favor as well. Does the
Yes.
25 or 50?
I'll say stick to 100 because 50 is not going to do anything. 100, well, it can share on both sides, Ward 1 and Ward 2. 50 is not going to do anything. So I will stick with the 100 because
Remember, it's a pilot, so.
But it still is, if something happens and those cameras, wherever they are, can help them solve what happened or get to the case. I mean, it's nothing. We throw away money like nothing. So 100 cameras to me, I would stick with the 100 instead of the 50 because 50 is nothing.
Okay, and
It's
we do not throw away money. We spend our money very fiscally. That's why we're having this conversation.
That's why we're having this discussion.
Very.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh. So I think you make a good point, though. If it's 100, then it's just 50 per ward, first come, first serve, and we'll see how that goes. So Councilmember, and I'm sorry, you're moving on my screen, Brown, you had thrown out 25. Are you okay with the 100 cameras? Okay. Councilmember
50.
McBride. Okay, thank you for your patience, Councilmember McBride.
I guess I'll go with
100?
yeah.
Okay, great. So with that, the budget implication again would be the $50,000, Mr. Charnovich, for the ordinance. I know you have to get ready to read that. So again, just wanted to have the conversation first so we have, if this is moving forward, have that information incorporated. And then let me just pull up the ordinance, Mr. Charnovich, to make sure. Give me a second. The 3 items I believe are now sufficiently covered. Is there anything else you need before proceeding with the reading of ordinance 04-2023?
Yes, Mayor, there is. So the ordinance that was presented over the weekend incorporated three transfer lines, and based on the discussion that occurred this evening, that takes us up to five transfer lines. And I will before I read the ordinance, let's summarize and go from there, please. So starting with the item we just discussed, there'll be one of the transfer lines will be to allocate $50,000 for the security rebate program. That will be one of them. And then the second one will be, which was discussed a bit earlier, the fireworks transfer amount of $5,000 from line 6260 within the budget. And then those are the 2 that were not already on the ordinance. The third item will be the ambulance purchase transfer of $261,117. That'll be the ARPA allocation of that one. And then there will be the transfer of $12,000 for the community grants, which was indicated 4 grants at $3,000 apiece, also from line item 6260 within the budget, general operating budget, that is. And then last but certainly not least, is the one that has not been determined yet. And that is the amount of the ARPA funding for business and nonprofit assistance within Bladensburg, Bladensburg businesses and nonprofits. So I know we've talked about, I know at the special meeting, it was talked about a possible tiered approach, and then also maybe not a tiered approach. And then it was discussed about a flat amount. It was also discussed about scrubbing our lists, which, we finished the application, we finished the postcard, but scrubbing the list over the holiday season was just too much to get done. So we're going to have to leap a little bit of faith on this one. So whatever number is determined, I need some guidance on that one. So for example, just for fictitious reasons, just throwing it out there, if it's 3,000 a business, we just need to choose a number of businesses out there, knowing that what was discussed earlier, that I think Mayor, you may have said, not every business may apply for this program. Some may, some not. So I guess we shouldn't assume that we'll have every single business apply. But rather than me keep going on and on, I guess you get. I'm sure you all get the point. But we do need to choose a number to allocate for that category.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Charnovich. So Councilmember Brown, I know you were kind of spearheading the update here and just doing simple math. If I know there's more businesses in this, but were you all thinking from the meeting discussion, at least for this initial round, enough to fund applications for 100 businesses, 50 businesses? What was it? Did you have in mind? 100 would be 300,000 of ARPA funding.
Yeah, and let's do the 3,000 for the 100, because we initially looked at the list and there was 117 businesses. I do believe Mr. Reinhardt, he can correct us on that. So he look like he wants to say something.
Yeah, Mr. Officer Wright.
Sorry, I was getting my paperwork out so I could state it's 179 businesses. But again, that also includes our vendors and everything also. So probably I'd say 170 businesses would probably be an accurate, not including like ice cream vendors or vendors, food trucks or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 107, if we go at 170 businesses, and I think if we have to increase it, I mean, if we have to add more businesses, but I think because all businesses probably will not apply, so let's go with the $3,000.
300
for the business, because the 3,000.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so 3,000 for.
Yeah, that's what we discussed. Yeah, for the businesses. So that is what we had initially discussed. We had looked at a few options, but I think that was the one that we had agreed upon to say let's just do a flat, make a flat amount, and that was the 3,000.
And council member, that's 510,000 if you did all 170 businesses. So can you just verify the amount so Mr. Charnovich can include that in the
Yes.
Ordinance?
Yes, that absolutely. It would be the $510,000 for 170 businesses.
Got it. Thank
At
you.
$3,000 for each business.
Some of those businesses was duplicate. It was
You said how
duplicate.
many were duplicate? Some were duplicate.
It was, mhm.
Yeah, and so and
My hand was
I
raised.
think, but this is for the.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Rao, for passing of the ordinance, but but we're gonna scrub the list, but at least we know that it is at maximum 170.
Okay.
Number could come in more. I'm
And
sorry.
then I know Mr. Officer Reinhardt came back on camera. Councilmember Rout, did you have a question also with respect to the discussion?
Yeah, I had a question of Mr. Reinhardt. How many businesses are within a business? So we were told by Mr. Tonelli that some businesses are not brick and mortar that's on the list. So my proposal was to reduce the number to like 150 so that there are, like Mr. Tonelli was saying, that not everyone is like locally in town, and he was telling us all this,
Yeah.
you know, this stuff. So instead of 170, 150, I don't know.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
he
I
was
think
saying
what he
it-
was describing was, I apologize, is they actually have their home office isn't located in Bladensburg, but they have some type of association with a business inside the town of Bladensburg. So I think that's what he was trying to explain.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for the matter of the ordinance and as we move forward, if we have to make adjustments, because I mean, I think that number is going to come down.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, as we're, you know, covering it, you know, tonight and it's and being, I mean, you know, and also looking at the time, we had less on the agenda. We're already at 8 o'clock almost. But I think for now, for the ordinance, because we can always come back in a minute and once the list is scrubbed,
Okay with
and
that.
we can say, okay, well, now this is the number, but at
Mhm.
least we will have had the ordinance read and with the amount in the ordinance.
Great,
And, yeah,
thank
and for the business relief, you know, so.
Thank you for that. And then, Mr. Charnovich, just one point of order, because I did realize just now the fantastic fireworks proposal is further down on the agenda after the ordinance and really should be discussed beforehand, since that's also up for inclusion in the ordinance. So do you want to give that brief update?
Sure, Mayor. Great point of order. Yeah, I would, my recommendation would be to take an action on that item first, just to make sure that it gets adopted before, and for the purpose of everybody on the call. So that it's just an item using our existing vendor who did our fireworks shows in 2022. And we're trying to lock them in for our July 2023 fireworks for the July Spectacular. And the cost of that is $10,000 total, and $5,000 would be paid now, and then $5,000 closer to the show. Is that a good summary, Mayor?
It is, thank you. And so again, just because of how this falls within the budget, the idea was to include that $5,000 payment in this budget ordinance by placing it as a budget transfer from line item 6260 from the town administrator's transportation budget, which right now is funded at $60,000, but only $510 have been expended from that line item. And you guys help me make sure everything financial is covered, because I don't want us to have the reading and vote on the ordinance and, you know, miss something. So I'm just trying to make sure.
I think
that
you got
was the
it
last
all.
item.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it all.
Okay, and then just for clarification, the Tosic Road item is outside of this, so that I think we can move to next. So with that, I think we're finally ready for the
Okay.
budget ordinance. Thank y'all for the spirited debate. I love it.
Grab your waters.
Yeah, grab our
Right.
waters.
Mr. Charnovich, over to you.
Cheers to that. Hopefully I captured everything here. As I read this, if I didn't, just shout me out. All right, so we have emergency ordinance number 4 of 2023, fiscal year 2023 budget amendment. It's an ordinance to amend the operating budget of the town of Bladensburg, Maryland for fiscal year 2023, July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Whereas town administrator of the town of Bladensburg has made a recommendation to the mayor and council to amend the FY23 budget to reallocate funds as part of this fiscal year. And whereas the mayor and council of the town of Bladensburg have determined that it is in the best interest of the town to pass this budget amendment ordinance at the January 9th, 2023 town council meeting. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the mayor and council of the town of Bladensburg that the following amendments are made to the general operating budget for fiscal year 2023. So, first item would be to allocate $510,000 of ARPA funding to the business and nonprofit assistance expenditure category. The second item would be to transfer $12,000 from line 6260, which is the town administrator transportation category, to the community grants category to help nonprofits that serve the Bladensburg community but are not legally established within Bladensburg. Number 3 is to allocate $261,117 of ARPA funding for the purpose of providing funding to the Bladensburg Volunteer Fire Department to help them complete the purchase of their ambulance. Number 4 would be to transfer $5,000 from line 6260, the town administrator transportation budget, to the fireworks category for the purpose of the contract with Fantastic Fireworks for the July 2023 fireworks show. And number 5 would be to allocate $50,000 of ARPA funding for the purpose of providing a security rebate program to the community that would cover 100 households, 50 per ward, I think was stated. So that's our five summary items. And then to finish off the ordinance, and be further enacted and ordained that upon passage, this ordinance shall be authenticated by the signature of the mayor and clerk, shall be recorded in a book kept for that purpose. In addition, the ordinance shall be published by posting a certified copy of it in the town hall for 10 days following adoption, pursuant to Article 2, Section 209 of the Charter of Bladensburg, Maryland, will be effective on the 19th day of January 2023, 10 days after today. That concludes the ordinance reading, Mayor James.
Thank you, Mr. Charnovich. So with that, I'll call for a motion to approve ordinance 04-2023.
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Rao. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. The next item is the confirmation approval of emergency road work that was completed on Taussig Road. I believe that emergency repair came up rather quickly. Mr. Charnovich, do you want to fill everyone in on that?
Yes, I will, Mayor James. Thank you. So the timing of it was such that things heated up right around the time of the December 12th council meeting, and we could not accomplish what we wanted to accomplish before the December 12th meeting. And Mr. Hall had some concerns about the roadway, and we can't predict the weather either. And he knew it was getting colder and colder as the winter season goes along. So we wanted to make sure that the work got done in an effort before freezing, because once you get the temperatures so low, it becomes much more difficult to do road work. So we chatted with him about it, and given the authorities we have in our charter, I basically just said, get it done. And for the purpose of the record tonight, I will say that Mr. Hall made an attempt to contact it's 3 to 4 contractors. I definitely know 3, it might have been 4. So he did make the effort to get multiple bids to do the work, but given the job was so small, relatively speaking, he did only end up getting one quote from Pronto, which was in the packet, the invoice. And we have worked with Pronto before as a quality contractor. They did some work for us on another roadway in the town, a cul-de-sac, I think it was. I forget which road, but the work was done quickly and expeditiously and to our satisfaction, and it's already been done. So in the interest of transparency, I wanted to make sure the council was aware and to bring that up tonight. And I believe Mr. Tonelli took this out of the capital budget category, which we had not spent for roads for this year, because I don't believe we have spent anything yet in that category at all, to the best of my knowledge. So I think that's where it came out of, out of the budget. But that's the explanation of what was done. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Charnovich. And I do see that there was 150,000 that was in here for a capital outlay. So definitely understand the justification for pulling that, and understand for the charter that you did have authorization because it was truly an emergency road repair. But just want to open it up to the council for any questions. Okay. And then the next item takes us into staff reports. So want to move through those, and actually want to also ask to be excused. We have a major meeting going on with some of our residents that just got underway, and the Attorney General for the state of Maryland is involved. So I do want to get around the corner to offer support because they're having some challenges with their housing situation in Ward 2. So with that, Councilmember Brown, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you so I can depart and get around the corner because the sheriff's office is also involved. There's a lot going on. So I do need to get over there for support. But thank you all so much for the fruitful discussion. Councilmember Brown, are you good to go, Mayor Pro Tem? Oh,
I'm good to go. Yes,
okay,
thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
Yeah, I apologize not being there. All right, so. Okay, staff reports. All right, let's start with the treasurer's report.
Madam Pro Tem, I
Mr.
don't think
Vito
our
is
treasurer is here.
Yeah, Mr. Vito. Mr. Vito's not here. Okay, let's go. Go ahead. I didn't know if he left some instructions for you.
No, that's all right. I would say that Mr. Tonelli did submit his report. It was provided to the council. He did not leave me any instructions on that. So
Okay.
if there are any questions, I'll do my best to answer. If not, I can certainly circle back. He'll be back later this week, so we can get back to everybody.
Yes, and so, I mean, we have the treasurer's report that we can, take a look at. Like I said, if there are any questions, just please let us know, and we will address those questions for the treasurer's report. Next, public safety and code enforcement. So, do we have anyone on, Mr. Purnell, on for no, public safety? Go ahead, Chief, public safety.
No problem. So I will be very brief. I know it's getting late and I may have to go catch up with
Across
the
the
mayor.
street, right? Yeah.
So I would just say, I'm just so proud of our law enforcement team for the good work that they do, those serving on the front line and those behind the scenes. I just want to say for the year 2022, our units did respond to 9,966 calls for service. So we intend to continue to be committed to serving the residents of Bladensburg. Today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I just want to take a minute to thank all of our police officers around the country, around the world, for the amazing job that they do serving their communities each and every day. I often say that our law enforcement officers don't have the option to swerve around danger. So when we get a call, we must respond. And sometimes that means paying the ultimate sacrifice to protect the communities they took an oath to serve. So I just want to say on today's date, I want to salute all of our law enforcement officers across the country, and definitely here in the town of Bladensburg. I think our officers do the best job of any police department around. As a chief, I am honored and humbled to be the leader of this organization, but I couldn't do my job without the hard work of our team each and every day. So I will end it there.
Thank you, Chief, and you're absolutely right. Thanks for that report because, yes, law enforcement, I mean, you all definitely protect and serve daily, sacrificing, your family sacrificing for us as well. So definitely much appreciation to all our law enforcement, definitely here in the town of Bladensburg and all over who serve us. Next, code enforcement.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy New Year. Code enforcement over the last year responded to over 2,500 calls for service, to include 252 abandoned vehicles, 178 trash complaints. And 39 of those vehicles were impounded. We strive to look forward this year to continue our service and make sure to make Bladensburg a cleaner and safer place.
We can't hear you, madam. We
Okay, I
can't.
thought I clicked it. Okay, I said, thank you for that report, Mr. Reinhardt. I said, next, let's hear from our town clerk and interim town administrator, Mr. Chernovich.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown / Mayor Pro Tem. So I will be relatively brief with a very very important topic, but well, I submitted a very lengthy update to the council with a lot of different administrative topics on it, with happenings happening in the administration and clerk side of the office. But I will say, and this follows up to an item that was on the, I think, the work session agenda that we never got to regarding the office of the clerk. So one announcement I wanted to make tonight is that Diane Griffin, who is our Diane Griffin Horn, who is our long serving person at our front desk of 22 years, is going to be stepping down and retiring from her position in early February. I will say one thing, I've worked with Diane now for, I guess, approximately 15 months, only a little bit over a year. So anything I could explain about Diane doesn't really compare to 22 years of service to the Bladensburg community. That's very very impressive. Very impressive for her tenure here. The clerk's office is, Diane is a very energetic and exciting person. She's always very personable, meeting people at the front desk, talking on the phone, helping people, doing everything for the front office. She's exciting. Mr. Jeffries is a very talented marketing team member that I'm the boring guy in the clerk's office. So the bottom line is that Diane is going to be very missed by all of us here in the office, and also by the citizens of the Bladensburg community. And she and I chatted, and I wanted to make sure that I announced that she was going to be retiring, and we all wish her all the best in her retirement moving forward. It's been a pleasure working with her these last 15 months. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to mention tonight, was the show is for Diane tonight. So I think that's, I can adjourn my report with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chernovich. And next we have, and we'll talk on our mayor and council reports. Next we have Public Works, Mr. Purnell.
I don't think he's
Mr.
on.
Purnell on? He's not on?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you can definitely all of the reports are posted via the website, so you can definitely go and take a look at them. Chief, yeah, he had to go because he's going to join the mayor. So now let's move to the mayor and council reports, and I see where I am first for my council report. But first of all, I would just like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Yes, and yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. I mean, it's starting off. I know we had a little bit of cold weather, as January is supposed to be. But also I want to take a look back at December, and I'm not gonna talk a lot, but we had a lot of activities that happened and went on in the month of December. So once again, thanks to our town staff, always there, always supporting the residents, supporting the mayor and council, getting the job done. So once again, just continue to thank you all for your good work, because I know the month of December was a very, very busy month with all the activities and the events that we had going on here in the town. So once again, thank you all so much for that. Also, as the Chief was talking about today being Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, we definitely appreciate our law enforcement with the public service and what you continue to do for us, the residents here in the town of Bladensburg on a daily basis, when we are at home comfortably asleep in our beds. And you all continue to serve and protect. And also thank you to your families as well. So nationally as well, we'd like to say thank you. And then to Ms. Diane Griffin. It has definitely been so wonderful, wonderful working with you just over the years. You provided so much wonderful service. And I tell you this, the residents, I mean, they always have very kind words about you, Miss Diane. So you will definitely be so missed on the job, but know that you're here in our hearts. If you want to come back and and do a little bit of work on a little bit project here on a project here or there, you're gonna be welcome. But I'm sure with your retirement, I don't think you're gonna be thinking about doing any more work. But however, we love you. We're gonna miss you and just appreciate you so much with your years of service. So with that, I'm going to move forward. Want to be in consideration of everybody's time. Next, we have Councilmember McBride.
Councilmember McBride will pass on her report.
All right, all right. Councilmember McBride is going to forego her report. Now we have Councilmember Blunt.
Hello. So this, again, I'd like to say thank you to, I'm gonna start off with Diane. I've been knowing her for forever. She's a sweet, lovable person, always there to help. You'll be truly missed by the residents. You will be truly missed. I don't know how they're gonna fulfill their shoes, but I know they'll try to. Diane. So again, I would like to thank the seniors for attending the gala in December and look for some other things coming up to for Bladensburg. Also, I wish I could attend what was going on in the community in Ward 2, but I didn't know anything about it. And again, Trina, congratulations on Mayor Pro Temp. I didn't know about that either. So again, thank you for stepping up to the plate, because I mean, you are good at what you do. So again, thank you all. And Chief Summoner, don't forget about my initials on that.
Hey, we put it right in the front.
I'm so glad the money is starting to be put out for the business and the nonprofit. I'm so glad. And thank you for bearing with us as we work through what we had to do. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. All right, and Councilmember Rout.
Last but not least, save the best for last. No, I'm just kidding. But I have participated in all of the town council sponsored events for our holiday season. It was really great seeing everyone coming out and just being jolly and having merry spirits. I don't want everyone to forget that we are still in what they're calling a triple-demic, right? There's the RSV going around, there's that COVID bug that just won't leave us alone, and flu. So get your flu shots if you haven't already. Go ahead and take that. Get your boosters. I know the state of Maryland, they like call me all the time. I got a booster and I was out of town on business, and I just got my booster because I was traveling. They still calling me, but look, it's going to help fight COVID. I still serve on the vaccine awareness group. Vaccines are continuing to be provided by our local health department. If you need a vaccine, you may contact the health department, and it's right here in our backyard. It's over in Cheverly. And you know, if you don't have insurance in the state of Maryland, you don't need insurance in order to get vaccines. So go ahead and reach out. Additionally, I had the opportunity to attend Congressman Ivy's ceremonial swearing in, because you know our leaders were doing their business and trying to select a speaker. I also attended my soror, Aisha Brave Boys swearing in, and it was a real beautiful occasion. Upcoming events, let's continue to support our cell and the programs that we do. Contact your council members. We're here to serve you. We wouldn't, be doing this without you. With that being said, I will submit a written report for the details of the work that I have been doing for the town of Bladensburg. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Councilmember Rout. And before we adjourn, I would just like to also mention that the Maryland General Assembly, they are reconvening this coming week. So just definitely stay tuned and pay attention and look at some of the bills that are going to be brought forth before our delegates and our senators, and also the swearing in of our governor. Governor-elect, yes, of our governor-elect is happening on the 18th of January. So he's going to be sworn in, and then they're going to have, I guess, the festivities afterwards in Baltimore. So, and so I think by that time, all of our elected officials will have been sworn in. So
be in place. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I forgot to wish Miss Diane. I think I'm suppressing it because I don't want her to leave. So it just totally left my brain. But honestly, Miss Diane, you have been nothing but a sounding board to a supportive to me as an elected official, just new in this work, showing me where things are going, making sure I'm registered. I appreciate that because coming in, it was the COVID and you were there to answer all of my calls. So I really do appreciate you. My children appreciate you. You're going to be missed from this town. So hopefully you'll find some room to just come back and enjoy some of our festivities and maybe possibly volunteer. I don't know, but enjoy your retirement. You deserve it. You deserve it. And yes, I'll be attending the People's Gala as well. Thanks, Susan. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, as we adjourn our January 23rd, 2023 Mayor and Council meeting, I would like to call for the vote.
So moved.
So moved
Second.
by Councilmember Blunt, seconded by Councilmember Rout. Hearing none, call for the vote. So let it be known by saying of aye.
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 Any nays? Ayes
You want to go home?
Ayes have it. Meeting has been adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you to the residents for you all coming out and tuning in as well.
Good job.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.